be going on a road trip pretty soon, and there are many reasons for a road trip. We've got checking out colleges to see where your kid might want to go. There's moving across the country. Many of you are moving here to Florida in your car. And then there's people who are on the road for business and others just for pleasure. But there's some things that we should think about before heading off on our adventure. And that's preparing your car for anything. So call it emergency preparedness on the road. Just call it plain old common sense before heading out on a long road trip. So the very first thing for us, we wanted to make sure the car was in tip-top shape. Even though it's a newer car, we needed a couple of new tires. We wanted to check the brakes out and everything else that goes with the car. You even want to make sure your air conditioning and heating system is working fine, because you don't want to be in freezing weather and your heater's not working, or you're in sweltering heat and your air conditioning's not working. Check everything out. Have your car checked out from top to bottom, oil change and all. So once you know that your car is safe, that you can make it across the country or wherever it is that you're going to go, you want to make sure you have certain things with you, especially if you have small kids and pets. So if you got your pets, make sure that you have a small crate. And the reason I mention the crate is just in case you end up somewhere where you didn't plan on and they want you to crate your dog. Let's say you're traveling down to Florida and a hurricane comes in and you need to go to a disaster relief center and they want your dog crated. So good thing to have it on hand if you could do so. Also extra dog food, water. We usually carry a case of water with us at all times, plus some juices that come in little containers. That's good for everybody. Small kids, make sure you have plenty of formula, baby food, diapers, wipes. You know the drill. If you're a parent with babies, you want to have everything you need plus some. And then, as I said, case of water. Once you start getting low, stop and make sure it's filled up again. And the other thing too is always make sure that you have gas in your tank. Don't wait till it's a quarter tank. Especially out west, there's long distances where there's not gas stations. And even on the East Coast, it could be the middle of the night, the small gas station that's normally open is closed. Some other reason a gas station is not working or closed. You want to make sure you get your gas topped off. We do it when we get about halfway down and then we top it off. We like to play it safe. And the other thing is make sure you have enough cash on you. I can't tell you how many times we've traveled, and even though ahead of time I called all my banks, my credit card companies, and I say, I'm traveling through this date, they make you go through this whole thing telling them what states you're going to be in, and you do that, you go through the whole process, and they're like, oh, you're all set, have a good trip, and you get to where you're going and your credit card's denied or your debit card's denied because you get the fraud alert. Because there's so much fraud these days that they're just stopping the credit card if you're out of state, not shopping like you normally do. If you're shopping more than you normally are because you're traveling, they'll stop the credit card, and then what? Especially if it's on a July 4th weekend or if it's a Sunday and you can't get a hold of anybody, be a pain. Make sure when you do get a credit card or a bank, ask them what their hours are ahead of time. What do you do if it's a Sunday and your credit card's not working? And don't buy oh, don't worry, we took care of it, nothing's going to happen, because something's going to happen or could happen. And you want to know who you can call, because the number on the back of the card may not work. We had that problem last year. They were saying there was a fraud alert and we couldn't use our card. Thankfully, the hotel knew us because we were there every year. And we had to wait till the next day because the offices were closed. I'm like, well, don't you have a 24/7? This is a large bank, the kind that should be open 24/7. So have cash. So that was my point. Have cash to pay for gas, hotels, food. At least for a few days, have enough on hand in case your cards are stopped and they don't work. And it would be wise to have different cards. If you have a Visa, make sure you have a MasterCard, make sure you have a Discover, and your debit card, just different ones, because if you just have just Visa and there's a problem, a hack attack, or who knows what, anything can happen these days. So have cash, have different kind of credit cards. Make sure you call all your banks ahead of time and let them know you are traveling. Hopefully that will help a little, but also ask them, what's the phone number I can call if it's a Sunday or a holiday and they stop the card? Who do I call? And if they say the number on the back of your card, say, well, give me another number. Have a backup number, somebody that you could reach. Of course, you want to have your first aid kit in the car. Make sure you have your Band-Aids and Neosporin and some wraps in case someone sprains an arm or you need to stop bleeding. Just your basics, have some of that ready to go. And it wouldn't hurt to have some basic tools in the car. You just, again, you don't know if you might need something. Having flares are a good idea. In the middle of the night on a mountain road that you could put those flares out. Of course, have your cell phone charged at all times and make sure you have a cell phone charger that goes into your car so you can charge it that way. And of course your jumper cables, so if somebody comes by, because we have AAA, and I told you I was a member for 33 years, so make sure you have a AAA membership or something similar. But even then, if it's in the middle of nowhere, you can't, and your phone's not working and you can't reach somebody, you're on your own. So you have to make sure you have everything you need to survive until a car comes by or somebody comes and to help you. I think having some work gloves in the car is a good idea in case you need to do something in the engine and you need to open something up without ripping off your skin on your hand. Oh, there's so many things that you can put in your car. Extra clothes for sure. If you're traveling, most likely you have your luggage with you with your change of clothes. But in case you're just traveling short distance, have a backpack with change of clothes to have on hand. If you're in the snow area where it gets very snowy, of course, you want to have some salt, maybe a board to put on your tire if you get stuck in the snow, or a small shovel. I know you can only carry so much in your car, so you're going to have to choose the most important thing to you to fit in your car. If you have a truck, you can fit all kinds of things in there. For us, we have the little Nissan, 4 of us and a dog, so we're just going to have to do the best we can and fit what we can in that car. I like having those rain ponchos in case you end up outside of your car and you're getting drenched. Umbrellas, of course, plenty of food, snacks, and not just candy. Have some food where if you do get stuck on the road that you won't go hungry and you could actually eat some food. I like to have nuts too on hand. Those are healthy and protein and iron and something good to have on hand. So there's many reasons your car could break down or you could get stuck in traffic. Some of you remember in the Northeast, was it last winter or the winter before, where people were backed up for hours? I think it was like 24 hours they were stuck out there. And don't forget your bucket to pee in. It's easier for you guys, but the girls, you want your little bucket in case you are stuck on the highway and you don't want to go out in public, that you have that in your car. And Rick was mentioning that they have those, if your battery dies, they have those little boxes. Matter of fact, when we were changing our oil, our battery died and this guy had this little box and he was able to jump the car with that little, I don't know what it's called. If you go to an auto store, I'm sure they could tell you. That's a good thing to have on hand. We ought to get one of those. If you're going long distance and you've had trouble with your car, make sure you put a new battery in. But even so, that's not a bad thing to have on hand. It was just a little box, and he jumped it until we got to the auto store and we put a new battery in. Because this Florida sun is pretty hard on the battery and it killed it. But same with the cold. The cold will do the same thing to your battery. Those are the basics for us, the things that we think about when getting our car ready for a long road trip. And if you have some ideas, please comment below, because every little tip will help us and help everybody who's here watching. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, please share, and don't forget to live a passionate life.